Welcome, everyone, to the Success Elevated podcast. As always, I'm your host, Hayden Lee, and I am joined this week by my co-host. It's been a few weeks since we had Katie on. Katie Harris, founding partner here at Spot On Solutions. Thanks for joining me again for another episode, Katie.
You bet. I've missed it. I got in the habit of being on with you every week, Hayden, and now we've been a few weeks. So I can't think of a better one to be on, though, than today with my good friend.
Yeah, this is going to be an awesome episode. We're here introducing someone that probably a lot of our industry already is familiar with, but someone that's new to our podcast. And we hope to have him on multiple times over the next little while. But Howard Partridge, and we talked a little bit before we started recording about what would be a good title. And I loved the title that he came up with, which is The Phenomenal Business Coach. Howard, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Well, my pleasure. I'm not sure that sounded just right, though. Like, okay, so
I was gonna say, I don't know that you gave yourself that title.
No. But that's the one that I think I love narrowing it down to that. That was perfect.
Oh, he said he's a phenomenal business coach.
Oh, okay, there we go.
If I had to describe, like, hey, what does Howard do? I'm like, hey, he's a phenomenal business coach.
Exactly.
See, that rolls off.
There's nothing wrong with the title if it's correct, if it's true. There's nothing wrong with
that. Is true, but it's not exactly correct.
Okay.
Because what most people would say is that I'm a better than phenomenal business coach.
Whoa, there we go. Well, we're going to learn.
We're going to learn all about that. Regular bar. You don't just have a regular bar when you do stuff with Howard Hayden. You're going to learn this over the next few minutes. You have a phenomenal bar, right?
It's not like success elevated. Like
exactly
success, phenomenal success, but phenomenal success elevated.
Exactly. Well, we've got a lot we want to talk about today, Howard. Okay, so again, really appreciate you coming on. I think the best way to start with, like we do with a lot of our episodes, is kind of get you familiarized with our audience a little bit. So I'd love to talk a little bit about your background, how you got into the world of business coaching. So feel free to kind of take that whatever direction you want. I know you obviously started several successful businesses. So I'd love to kind of hear a little bit about your background in the business world.
Well, in the business world, what happened was I got married. I was a waiter, and I worked in these really high-end restaurants where we did this, wore a tuxedo to work, did all this tableside cooking like steak Diane, bananas Foster, cherries Jubilee, stuff like that. I was 23 at the time, and I always wanted to have my own business, but I didn't really have any money to speak of. And then I met my wife, Denise Conjette Antoinette Pinella. Now, that's Italian. She's from New Jersey. By the way, I'm from LA, Lower Alabama, grew up on welfare. So this is going to be a good match, And so I get married to this Italian family. And when you marry an Italian family, you don't get wedding presents, you get cash. And we got $3,000 in cash. And there was a friend of the family, same age as me, tooling around a little red Mercedes convertible. And I said, I want to know what that guy does. And I want to know if it's legal. Well, turns out he had a cleaning business, and he, this guy's driving a Mercedes. He's got his own business. I'm a waiter. So I get back to Houston, and I spend that entire $3,000 starting my business out of the trunk of my car.
You married a saint, and you knew it from the very start, didn't you, Howard?
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't. Yes. Saint Denise. There we go. We'll just keep it right there.
I'm going to call her that next time I see her.
I love it.
Saint Denise. Was there something, Howard? I think it's so cool that, again, it all just started from just being like, man, like I want to make a little bit better living for myself and my new wife. What was there something there to, a principle that Katie and I have talked a lot about on the podcast about these serial entrepreneurs, which it just means people that can't help but start businesses. And I love that, like at a young age, you were like, hey, we're gonna dive into this. I want to do it. Do you feel like it was something that you were raised with? I know you talk about you were raised on welfare in LA, Lower Alabama. Yeah. Was it something that you just from a young age, you were just like, I just want to make a better life for myself? What was it that drove you, other than seeing the red Mercedes, to like, hey, let's start this business?
Yeah. So actually, when I was a kid, I cut grass. I've been an entrepreneur all my life. The only problem is I didn't learn how to save money until many years later, after my business was in a ton of debt. That's a whole nother story. But today I'm debt free and very successful financially, blessed to say. But yeah, so I cut grass, I picked up pine cones, I traded for services. I cut a guy's grass down the street, and he worked at the Mobile Auditorium. And so our trade deal is I cut your grass every week, and any concert I want to go to, he would just like open the side door, and me and my buddies,
You're still making deals like that to this day, aren't you, Howard?
I do, yeah, all the time. The only difference is they're my conferences that people are coming to now.
That's
I
awesome.
love that.
Yeah. So so that's just how I always operated. I always saw something that in people and situations that could be improved that other people didn't seem to see. Recently, I did a strength finder. Anyway, I always get the S mixed up. Core Clarity. One of my clients does that. And one of the strengths I have is futuristic, and only 11% of the population have that. And I think as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, you need to have vision, right? So you need to be able to dream. And a lot of people don't have that gift. A lot of people have trouble with that.
Yeah.
And I think that, having a coach and having someone, if you don't have that, having a coach or someone to help you with that, help you with your vision is really important. Getting around people who have been successful so that you can get inspired by them. And then someone like me who I'm not a serial entrepreneur. I could be very easily because I got more ideas than I could ever do. Even about $1 billion, I don't think I could pay enough people to write all the books I want to write and do all the things I want to do. But sometimes a coach not only helps people who don't have vision see the vision, but they help people like me, like, okay, hold on there, Chief. Just hold on for a second.
Settle down.
You're about to run it into the ditch. Cool it off a little bit. Cool the heels a little bit. Because I just wanted to, and so I ran the ditch a few times, right? And so got into a lot of debt and made a lot of mistakes, and just because I was in a hurry. So I would consider myself definitely an entrepreneur. I'm just entrepreneurially minded, and that helps me in coaching and leading other people and writing books and stuff like that. But I'm more of a business owner, and I think it's really important because I work with small business owners. Obviously, I started in the cleaning industry, but we're in 100 different industries in 20 different countries.
Yeah.
And as a business owner, you don't have I don't know if I would even call it a luxury, but you can't just get up. You could, but it's not smart to get up and say, well, I'm just going to shut this business down, go do this. I'm just going to go do that. People are always looking for the greener grass, right? And Gary Keller's work, I got certified in the one thing many years ago. And there's this graph that he has where it shows the entrepreneurial seizure, right? So things don't work out. We search for greener grass and we start all over again. And so he talks about going from E to P. So go from entrepreneurial, which is create. But if it doesn't work, then you start something else. You got to break through and go from E to P, and P is purposeful. And I think that purpose is so important, that when you figure out why you do what you do, that's where the energy comes in. Then it's not hard to get up in the morning, run your business. But if you get up in the morning and you just show up to do the business and react to and most of the people that I work with, most small business owners are a slave to their business. They're looking for that exit, but they probably got too much debt. They got too much invested in it. They don't have other ideas. Yeah. So we come along and say, look, why does your business exist? You don't have to do every single thing in your business. If you build systems, people and processes, you can offload a lot of that stuff. You can enjoy your business. And so when you understand what your purpose is, you have people, you have processes in place, then you're ready to get up and work on that business every day. you
Yeah.
know?
Katie, you had something?
Yeah, when you said the P, I thought you were going to say passion, right? You have passion. And purpose and passion, it could kind of go hand in hand. There's some real distinctions, I think, between them, because purpose, I think, speaks more to a vision with a system and a plan and maybe a higher
Yeah.
purpose, really,
Yeah.
right? Passion, a lot of us as small business owners, as entrepreneurs, that passion is there.
Yeah.
And I think it's really, when you put all those things you just talked about, I see so many pieces that make you the phenomenal business coach, because you understand that vision and the purpose and the passion, but also the absolute need for the systems and the structure and the discipline, right? That's where I think that's the differentiators, is how can you be that person with passion and purpose, but also with some discipline and some structure.
Yeah.
Well, processes, policies, all the stuff that, you remember the old vinyl records, the 45, and then you accidentally put it on 33 and it goes. Yeah. So you say processes, policies, business owner, you go, but when you understand that a process takes the pressure off the person, you and your team member, and you have someone who already has systems and already built systems, shows you an easy framework to do it. It's like when I was, so I started that business. I'd been a business owner for 13 years. I felt like a slave to my business. I worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just to keep the doors open. I only had like 7 employees, but still, it's like everything revolves around me because I didn't have any systems. I didn't know how to lead and empower people. I'm just doing it, as my friend Michael Gerber says. And speaking of Michael Gerber, what happened was my mentor, my early mentor, he's looking at all the chaos. He would come to my office. And he's like, man, I'm running around. Hold on just a second. Take this phone call. I'll go tell somebody, I'm like, and he's like, Howard, you need the E-Myth. And I was like, what's an E-Myth? And so I read Michael Gerber's book. I transformed that same business that I was a slave to into a multi-million-dollar turnkey operation. And so I share that that's sort of when I discovered the secrets of a phenomenal business, which I wrote a book.
Yeah. Will you share? Let's talk about some of those a little bit, because I've heard you coach on this and speak on this, and I've read your books, but man, for everybody that's listening, this is the type of stuff that changes your life, right? When you really start learning these things and putting them into action, getting 1% better at them day after day after day, like it's pivotal in your business. It's transformational. So let's take a couple minutes and teach us some of these phenomenal business things that we need to know.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the reason we need to have the systems in our business is because you can't do it all and do it all well yourself, right? And so when you have a process, okay, this is just, even if you're working by yourself, if I get up every day and I have to recreate everything I do and I have no process to, I wrote a book called FTI, Failure to Implement, that one right there. I'm backwards, so my thumb's going the wrong way, but
going the right way. See it.
So there's one of the principles, there's 10 principles of phenomenal performance. And one of them is the process principle. And it says a simple system improves performance, right? And so there's 5 things that you need to systematize your business. One, I call them the 5 Ps. One is the purpose. Why are you in business? If there's any one thing that people need to understand, is that your business is a vehicle. Think systems. Any vehicle is a set of systems. Yep. Is a vehicle to help you achieve your life goals. It's the only reason it exists. Because, can I ask the audience a question? Does your small business have a dramatic impact on your personal life? The answer is yes. Now, here's the secret. Now, secret is something that somebody knows that other people don't know. A secret is not something that's just like unknown. Somebody knows, but I have a secret. Maybe you don't know the secret. here's the secret. The secret is that you have to understand what your life goals are, and that you have to understand the one and only reason your business exists. So if you don't have life goals, if you don't understand what you want your schedule to look like, if you don't understand what part of the business you're going to work in that you're best at, and that, what type of clients you want to work with, and, where you want to end up, you don't have a vision, then you're just going to be enslaved by activity. You just show up and get beat up every day, right? It's like whack-a-mole, just like,
it was really for us. And Hayden's heard me talk about this multiple times, but Michael and I, we were working with a coach. We were trying to figure out some things. We went to a conference, and I remember they had us dive into like, what is the vision? Why do you do what you do? And we spent hours on it, right? We thought we had a mission statement, and they're like, that's not your vision. That's not your purpose. And we just spent hours, and we would write it up on a big white Post-it note, and then we cross it off like, no, that's not it. That's not it. And we'd say, this is it. And I remember Dan was the one that was there, and he would say to me, he's like, convince me, prove it. And we'd have to like sell him on it. And he'd be like, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I remember him being like, I don't buy it. Keep going. And but then when we hit it, right? Like, we are driven to elevate people and businesses. When we hit it, like, we elevate people and businesses. That's what we do. And we're telling him that. And he's like, that I believe all day long. Yeah. We came back from that, and it just transformed everything we did. Cause we're like, everything we do digital marketing. I build websites, right? That's what I do, but it's not why I do it.
Not why you do it. Yeah.
Do it because I love that.
Yeah. Then second, you got to understand the positions in the company, right? So every company, there's actually 5 systems. Leadership, that's everything you do to communicate that vision and that purpose, why we do what we do. Second is marketing. That's everything you do to attract prospects to your business. Third is sales. That's everything you do to convert that prospect into a paying customer. Then fourth is what I call operations. You could call it service. So whatever you do to serve your customers, your clients, your patients, your guests, your members. We work in 100 different industries in 20 different countries. So, if it's a CPA, they have to deliver that, those reports and what have you in a timely fashion. They have to answer the phone. Everybody has to do that, right? No matter what kind of business they're in. And there's a system to that. There's a way to create and deliver a phenomenal experience, because that experience is what's going to set you apart from the competition, right? Plenty of people who do websites, plenty of people who do digital marketing, plenty of people who do coaching. What sets you apart? And then the fifth one is what I call administration. And that's all your tracking. That's your stats. That's, taking care of your insurance and your legal and your accounting and all those sort of office procedures. So you have those 5 systems, but then you have somebody has to plan it. There's like 3 levels of leadership. Somebody has to do it. Somebody has to supervise or manage it, and somebody has to lead it, right? Somebody has to plan it out. Somebody plans it, manager makes sure that it's taken care of, this done, it's been done properly, and somebody has to do it. That creates, you ready? 15 major functions, major positions. So if you think of a football team, there's 11 guys on the field. If I got that right, I'm not a sports guy.
Yeah, you're good.
5 in basketball.
He'll cover sports analogies.
Don't ask me about hockey. I don't know. But
yeah.
So anyway, just like any team, you have those, you have 15 roles, basically. These are the roles, because if you leave any one of those out, your business isn't going to be effective.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have a lot of activity in marketing, but if I don't have a marketing plan, or if I'm not doing what I need to do, or I'm not doing it right, okay? And the same is true for any one of those areas. So that's why people feel overwhelmed, because there's a lot to do. It's just never ending when you're by yourself. Or even, here's the crazy thing, is that when I meet with business owners or people come into our coaching program, it doesn't matter how big the business is, the owner is usually right in the middle, trying to be right in the middle of everything. You just can't do it and still grow.
Owner operator type stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Even when I got a friend who has a $500 million company, guess who's right in the middle of it, 3 a.m., writing like emails this long. I'm like, are you like smacked out of your mind? Or you just like, come on, man?
Was that the dream? Because I don't think that's the dream, right?
Yeah, it's not the dream.
It's not. It's not. But you know what? People have so much ego. They want to empower people. They got a lot of fear. Anyway, that's all another story. So purpose, the positions. Then you have we call them PRDs, which are it's a performance results description. And it's kind of a weird term, but we don't have job descriptions.
Yeah.
The reason we don't have job descriptions, I don't want anybody to have a job in my company. I want them to have an opportunity to perform and to get results. So what's the goal? What's the results? Because this is every single one of your systems are communication tools that we use in leadership, right? Because my definition of leadership is everything you do to communicate the vision. So a system is a communication tool that if you do this way, at this time, then we're going to get results, and that's going to help us to achieve our vision. So a PRD is a performance results description. So what is the result? What's the goal? What's the performance required? For example, if you need to do, if your goal is to get 1 sale a day, and you know that you got to make 20 calls to get 1 sale, you better get those 20 calls done, right?
Yeah.
And you got to measure to figure that out. So anyway, you describe the performance that's required. So there's performance required in customer service, right? Did we show up on time? Did we have all of our tools? Did we, use the script? Did we collect the money?
Yeah.
It's like, hello. I mean, you shouldn't even have to say that, but how many people out there like, well, my God, I didn't collect the check today? It's like,
we got to go back over. We got to go bug the customer now.
Or they left a piece of equipment or, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you got to have systems to keep that kind of stuff from happening. So you got your purpose, it's 5 P's. You got your purpose, you got your positions, you got your PRD. And the cool thing about the PRDs is every position on that org chart and every person in the company, you can just like have a checklist of, okay, this is what you do every day. This is what you do every week. This is what you do every month. This is what you do every quarter. This is what you do every year. If, most things are daily, weekly, maybe monthly, right? But, if you think about a company, a business being a vehicle, you got 5 systems, right? And the ultimate vehicle is an airplane, right? So I don't want a bicycle as a business. Now, it happens to be my favorite vehicle other than my convertible, but like I like to ride a bike, right? I'm outside, I have to get in, buckle up, all that kind of stuff. But it's not going to take me very far, and I'm not going to be able to take anybody with me, right? So an airplane, a 787 Dreamliner, we can all go a long way and have a phenomenal time when we get there and on the way. So then we have to have policies and procedures. So a procedure is how we do things step by step. So think about football. This is how you hand off a ball. Here's how you pass the ball. Here's how you catch the ball. Here's how you punt the ball. Here's how you snap the ball. Here's how you block. Here's how you tackle, right? Procedures. Then policies are the rules of the game, right? There's rules.
Non-negotiables.
Non-negotiable, because the fact is that there are certain things that you better do if you're flying an airplane. Otherwise, you crash.
Yeah.
If you go out of bounds in football, you foul somebody, it's going to hurt you, right? And so what we do is we train people on these systems. We have all these systems that they can just plug right into their business. And then we coach them on using those and implementing those, because you can know all those systems and still not implement, which is why I wrote that book called Failure to Implement right there.
So Howard, I have a question for you. You've been
Yeah.
talking the same stuff for a lot of years, right? And you like,
Yep.
this is the playbook, people. Like, and I want to share it with you. And I think I said this to you. Howard and I have been at multiple conferences together over the last few weeks. And I'm like, why are you still here? Like, why are you showing up? You don't have to be here right now. Like, you could be on the beach. What is it that fires you up to still show up, to still share this, to still be that phenomenal coach?
Well, that is true. As a matter of fact, I wrote this. I wrote a book. I don't have a copy up here. I've got one downstairs. I just had a book come out. It's called How to Build a Phenomenal Dream Team. And I think I was talking about that in that book. Anyway, so yeah, because I was talking about the why. And so when I first started building systems in my business, and I had this epiphany that I could have a turnkey business, I could have a business that ran without me. That's exactly what I had in mind, is that I can go to the beach anytime I want, and my dream was to build a dream house on the beach, which I did. And we love it down there. We spend the whole summer down there. So when you see me at a conference, don't feel bad and don't say, oh, Howard's not at his beach house sitting on the beach, because I get plenty of time to do that. Plus, I have grandkids, so don't feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
But then shortly after,
my point is like that's a choice.
I know, I'm getting there. Okay.
All right.
I'm getting there. Okay. So I accomplished that. But as John Maxwell told me one time, once you have a taste of significance, success will never satisfy. And I realized that it was my purpose in life to help people become the person that they have the potential to be. And so it's my primary target market is business owners, through helping them build a phenomenal business. Because when they build a phenomenal business, that's going to help them achieve their life goals. So what happens at a conference today is, well, as you know, people come up and say, man, like, I've known you for 25 years, and so it's like, it's great because all your friends are there. But also, since I've been around for so long and people have seen what I've been blessed to do, now they want to partner. Because guess what? Like, you were doing some stuff with us, but I really wasn't involved. But now here I am on your podcast.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That probably wouldn't have happened had I not been at these events.
The Success Elevated podcast is brought to you by SOS Navigator. SOS Navigator is an on-demand training platform geared towards marketing, personal development, and business growth. We understand that as a business owner in the service industry, you wear a million hats. Let SOS Navigator be a simple and cost-effective way for you to continue to grow your business. Click the link in the show notes below and use code SOS Podcast to get 10% off your next on-demand training course.
I think it's so cool, Howard, just to go back to like, again, the 5 things that you mentioned. And I think you answered Katie's question in a way that like addressed those 5 things again, is that like you feel like that is your purpose. Like your purpose is here to like help people grow their businesses. And like, that's why, and it's why, Katie, if you were to ask that same question to Katie, why you're not on a beach somewhere or on vacation or doing something, is like, Katie cares about her clients. She cares about helping them grow their businesses. And that's her purpose. She wants to elevate people in businesses. And so like, it's funny that you say that, right after you go through all of your 5 things, like you really hit home that like that first thing, which is that's your purpose. Like, what you want to do, what you care about. And so like, that's why you're still out here coaching and writing books and helping people do this and going to conferences and traveling all over the place, is because your purpose is to like, how do I help these people, build a phenomenal business?
Yeah. Listen, I can tell you that when I wake up in another hotel room, I'm like, the heck are you doing here?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but then I just have to gently remind myself, you're not here for you.
Yeah.
Zig Ziglar was the same way. John Maxwell is the same way. I developed a saying about purpose, which I believe is true. This came to me, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, because I was thinking about Zig. I asked Zig one time, and for the audience's sake, my company is the exclusive small business coaching company for the Zig Ziglar Corporation. The first time I interviewed him, I asked him, I said, why are you here doing this video with me? Because he was, I think, 80, almost 80 at that time. And I knew he had a beach house close by. I said, don't you have I know you have a lake house, not beach house, lake house. Why are you here? Aren't there more pleasurable things that you could be doing? And I'll never forget what he said. He said, there may be more pleasurable things to do, but there are few things that are as important.
Yeah.
And I realized as I thought about that, it's one thing to have a purpose and to start, thinking about why you do things. But at some point, it's a game changer when the purpose has you.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, the purpose had Zig. And sometimes I don't like that because I'm thinking, I'd like to just get up and not have to do anything. Or
not be in a hotel room.
Yeah. Which I'm actually going to do. So this year, my wife and I'll be married 40 years this year. And
awesome.
We're going to go to Hawaii, and to Italy. We used to go to Hawaii a lot. We're going to go to Italy, and I just decided I just don't want to fool with all that. So Howard is going to take 2 weeks off.
Hey,
and
that's
do
awesome.
nothing except look at my wife and smile and hug her.
It'll take you a whole week to settle into that, but that second week is going to be so good, Howard.
Yep. It's
I mean, listen,
a whole week to be comfortable with it, but week 2, good.
She sleeps later than I do, so I'll be writing a book. I'll be reading some books. Then when she gets up, I'm like, "What do you want for breakfast? Where do you want to go today?"
Well,
I love it. I love it.
It's really fun. I love hearing you talk about that purpose because I see you put it into action with people all the time, and I know it matters. And one of the places I've really enjoyed seeing you put that into action is I know you have a lot of conferences where people come, and you have one coming up. So let's take just a minute and talk about the conference that's coming up and what people can expect to get there at your next phenomenal conference.
Yeah. Well, more than a conference, it's a community of small business owners, and most of the people that are there, of course, we invite people who are not members, so you can come, and so it's available to anybody who's listening here. But we have people in that room, small business owners in that room, who have not only built systems but have become great leaders, have built teams, and really scaled their businesses up. And you will not find a more supportive, encouraging group of engaged business owners. I have a client who has been to 42 of my conferences.
Really?
42 conferences. Is she successful? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, anyway, so one thing that's going to happen is that everybody there is going to be able to meet an 80-year-old man who is a legend, much like Mr. Zig Ziglar, the legend Brian Tracy, who has written over 80 books. He has spoken in over 100 countries. He is the GOAT master.
Yeah.
He's coming out of a semi-retirement for 4 years to come and be with us.
I saw his number pull up on your cell phone, and I thought this is going to be a really special conference. Like this is going to be something that you want to be in the room for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the wisdom that flows from that man, he's been doing it for so long. It's just amazing. So Brian will be there. The theme is phenomenal growth. And I don't know why people don't, I mean, that gets me excited. I want to grow, you know? And so the whole idea is, how do you grow yourself? How do you grow your team? How do you grow your income? We're going to have a big emphasis on marketing. So we've got a young lady by the name of Katie Harris.
I get to be there. I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
I mean, don't put me right after Brian. Like, give us a break in there.
I didn't. I put me in. It was Brian, me, and then you.
Okay. You know, I'll try to live up to it. It's pretty tall orders, but
all you got to do is do what you always do, because you always deliver. I watched you speak the other day. It was excellent. And so Katie's going to show us how to create a website that converts. And I hate to spoil it, but if you're not up to it, we'll do it for you. She'll do it for you. Okay.
That's awesome.
We got plans. We got plans.
They know how to do it. So we're also going to have Michelle Prince. We're going to show you how to use a tool. She's in the publishing business, whether you have your own book or you have a little business card book or something like that, how to use your story to create credibility and put your story on paper. Eric Sprague, who is one of your partners and one of my partners, who was one of my coaching clients. They started their restoration business. I think they started the carpet cleaning business. And when they came to me, they were doing $225,000. And between me working with them and you working with them, they got to $4.5 million a year and sold it for a lot of money. And so now they're teaching soft skills to technicians through Super Tech University. So you co-authored his book or helped him with his book, right?
Yes. The Road to Seven Figures is coming out just this spring. And I think we'll have some advanced copies there at the conference. So a lot of these principles that you talked about, right, to build a phenomenal business, like Eric took those and man, he lives and breathes them. He put them into that business and he turned it into everything, you know, that we've been talking about today. And now he's put that into this book, and it's really excellent. We're excited to be there and share it.
And he's doing it again with his current business.
Yes,
this stuff just works, right?
Yep.
So we have Eric. We also have 9 speakers, which is a lot, but one of them that I want to mention, his name is Russell Ibarra, and Russell was unsuccessful in almost everything that he had ever tried before. Had his car repoed and just, you know, the whole 9 yards. Started a restaurant, opened a restaurant. Wasn't sure if it was going to be successful or not. That was January 11th, 1993. Today, he has about 30 locations. They do $170 million a year.
Wow.
He has 2,700 employees, and he's the best leader I've ever seen in my life.
It's awesome.
I got to write his book for him. So I took his principles, his habits, his success habits, everything. He paid me to form that book up. And so we're going to also be releasing that book at the conference as well.
So cool. Howard, if you want people to, you know, and obviously there's so many cool things. You guys are doing a lot of awesome speakers. There's going to be some awesome opportunity to network and all of that. If people want to learn more, want to register and sign up, where do they got to go to get signed up for the event?
Let me share one more thing before I do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Day one, you're going to learn the 5 secrets of a phenomenal business. I'm going to show you how to systematize your business. So I'm going to work with you myself the first day. So if you're not a member yet, you're a business owner, that first day, we call it boot camp, systems training, and I'm going to just get you get your foundation set before you go into the theater. We have this beautiful theater, and you know all the pizzazz that's happening. You're also
get them dialed in and fired up. That's what I would say.
Like,
you're coming to that boot camp, you're gonna get dialed in and fired up.
That's right. Yeah. And so then on the second day, while we're with our members, as a new attendee, we're going to take you on a tour of my multi-million-dollar cleaning company. So we have a big motor coach that pulls up, and you get on the bus and you go over to our place. You're going to meet our team. You're going to see how these systems work together. And people have told me that that experience alone is worth the whole trip, because it finally clicks. I see how marketing and sales and operations, administration, all that stuff, works together. So since we call that boot camp, you go to howardpartridgebootcamp.com, howardpartridgebootcamp.com, and sign up. So you're going to get the boot camp, you're going to get the tour, and you're going to get the 2-day conference. It's a 3-day experience, all included, and it will literally change your life.
Oh, yeah. So good, Howard.
We'll be sure and share that link in our show notes as well. And then put it up for everybody to come and join us at. It's going to be really phenomenal.
Oh, it's great. Howard, seriously, thank you so much for the info. I loved talking about those 5 principles. I love talking about business owners and their purposes and how we define that. There's so much more I want to talk to you about, but I want to make sure that we have you on again in the future to talk a little bit more. I'd love to kind of close out everything by having you answer the 3 questions that we have all of our guests answer. It's kind of a cool way to just compare and show some different ideas for different things. But first question, favorite book or podcast that you're reading or listening to, or that you've read or listened to recently? Go point at one of those that you've
all these books behind me. There's another shelf over there. They're everywhere. Okay.
Just a few books.
Yeah. Well, the email changed my life.
Good one.
So I share with people that if you want to have a phenomenally successful business, you need to have systems. You need to have the right people, and you need to become a leader. So the email changed my life. John Maxwell.
We have a lot of people say the E-Myth on here. Like, we should
E-Myth's good.
Count how many times our guests have said the E-Myth. That is, what a compliment. So,
yeah. Well, and as you know, we had Michael Gerber. I've had Michael Gerber 3 or 4 times. I've shared the stage with him many times. He's my neighbor now.
Oh, so cool.
I'm going to try to get him to see if I can drag him over to see Brian. He probably won't go unless he's on the stage. Be like, anyway, he's only 87. And anyway, so what I'm actually reading and teaching right now is a book that's not even available right now. I was with John Maxwell a few weeks ago and at one of his events. And this book called High Road Leadership comes out in May. And they had the Galley advanced reader copies for us. And the subtitle is Bringing People Together in a World That Divides. That's one of the things that we do. So I'm going through one of my leadership groups with this right now. And I'm going through one called The Ultimate Guide to Developing Leaders with my groups, another John Maxwell book. So I just don't think you can beat John's stuff, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. I have a whole shelf of John Maxwell over here. And of course, Zig Ziglar, see at the top, yeah. And so anyway, Ziglar, Maxwell, Gerber, Brian Tracy, can't go wrong. Those are the legends. Okay, next question.
Those are great. Those are great recommendations. And I love, if you can't tell, if you're listening to this podcast and aren't watching on YouTube, Howard's got probably several hundred books behind him, and then there's probably several hundred on the other wall. So Howard likes to read, which is a great thing. So
every day.
Second question, Howard.
Yeah.
Obviously you wear a lot of hats. You're traveling a ton. You've got conferences coming up, all of these different things you're trying to balance and take care of, and also make sure you're taking care of all of your clients and helping them grow their businesses. How do you relax at the end of a long day? How do you recharge your mental and emotional batteries?
Wear myself out. So when I stop, I just fall over.
You just fall over and go to sleep.
I was like, he reads. Hayden, look at the man. He picks up a book and reads something.
That's he reads and he falls asleep. There we go.
Yeah. So actually, the way that I process my day, I work 6 days a week, regardless of where I am. If I happen to be like on vacation or whatever, like I was talking about, I mean, I wake up at 6 o'clock. I can't sleep till 8 or whatever. So if nobody else is awake, or like, we've done these group trips to Cayman Islands, Belize, Costa Rica, different places like that. And I get up early. I got a stack of books. I got a stack of notebooks. And so every single day, 6 days a week, I start with what I call my daily time capsule, where I'm working on my projects. I just fill up my notebook, getting everything organized in my mind, just whatever it is I'm working on, right? And then work throughout the day. If I'm at the beach, I work at the beach. I sit there and I read, and I think I make phone calls on my cell phone. I text and whatever, at Houston or at a conference or whatever. Then at night, when I come home, I don't do this when I'm traveling. When I'm traveling, I just go to the hotel and go to sleep, because I'm usually out to dinner. I go to bed at 9 o'clock. And so when I'm home, I watch documentaries mostly. So like, I just need something, but I'm not like a sitcom guy. Like, just, my wife has the news on, the local news. I'm like, are you done? Like, I can't stand it. It's just noise, And so, so I watch all kinds of documentaries on famous people, or, whatever. So musicians, or I'm watching one right now called Unlocked. It's an 8-part series where they're doing this experiment in a prison, where they open all the doors and they let them just self-manage, and all the guards and everybody are just letting them do their thing. So I'm only on episode 2, so I don't know how it turns out.
Oh, that's cool. I love it. That second question's always been my favorite, because it's so cool to see how people lay out their day. And yeah, we've had some people answered. It's like, actually, it's not necessarily an end of day thing that I do. It's, I make sure that my lunch break is really good, or I make sure that I get up in the morning, and like, it's how I start my day. And everybody kind of has a little bit different answer, but at the end of the day, just, when you get to the end, try and have some time to just relax and recharge a little bit, I think is super helpful. So,
well, I know you got one more question, but I want to make a comment on, I love people, and I'm interested. I'm super interested in what makes people tick, So whether it's we watch Dateline. Why I watch Dateline, I have no idea, but it's like, I'm so like intrigued. Like,
you do it because the Saint says we're watching Dateline, Howard. We've already established this. When the Saint says this is what we're doing,
you got to do it. You got to do it.
No, I like it. I'm like, are you smacked out of your mind? How do you think you're going to get away with this? And then my wife and I are like, we could be private investigators, right? We could.
Oh yeah.
We could solve this.
You watch enough episodes.
Easily. Yeah. It's like, don't y'all watch Dateline? I mean, don't you know that they ping your cell phone pings the tower? I mean, don't you know there's video cameras everywhere? I mean, come on, people.
Oh, it's awesome. That's so funny. Well, last question, Howard, and then we'll quit bugging you for the day. But we appreciate, again, coming on. You've had some awesome insights into all of this. But last question. If you could rewind to the beginning of your career, and maybe it's the beginning of your career with your cleaning company, or maybe it's the beginning of your career in coaching, kind of whatever direction you want to take this. But if you could rewind to the beginning and tell younger Howard one thing, what would that one thing be?
Well, one thing would be, I'm going to go in a different direction, but I want to just set this up a little bit. Obviously, it's important to know why you're in business. It's important to be a student of business. But if I could talk to the younger Howard and any business owner, I would say, pay attention to your numbers. Pay attention to your numbers. Listen, there's this little thing called an income statement. There's this little thing called a P&L. Okay, there's sales, there's cost of goods sold, there's gross profit, there's overhead, and then there's.
Yeah.
If you don't make a profit, you don't have a business.
Yep. Yep. Paying attention to the numbers. It's something that a lot of people, they miss, or they wait till the end when they're going to sell and they're like, why can't I sell this for more? Why are we so in debt or whatever it is? Right. And
they're like, why am I
Can't
working
pay my
so
bills.
hard?
We're
There's no
busy.
more money in here.
Yeah.
Like, why am I working so many hours and not seeing
Yeah.
the money? Yeah.
And interest and debt. And I mean, like, I got my business in a ton of debt. Thank God for Ellen Rohr.
Yeah.
Ellen Rohr swooped in like Wonder Woman and got this system set up for me. And I'm living my dream because of that woman. I mean, I would have had to do some crazy things had I not got and all it was is we weren't charging enough. We didn't know how to manage our labor rate and all that. I mean, I literally get to walk on the beach with my grandkids, and my business is turnkey and profitable. It makes a ton of money for me because she showed me how to price my services. You know what drives me insane is these Facebook groups where these guys get on and say, how much should I charge for this sofa? And how much should I charge? You can't tell them. You can't tell them anything. But then as soon as I'm like, getting upset about them, I remember myself when we had a consultant, trying to tell me, pay attention to my numbers. I'm like, worry about that. We'll just don't worry about the debt. Don't worry about how much money we're spending. We'll just make more money. It's no problem.
Yeah.
Problem.
It's a crucial piece to the whole thing. And I think that's a great way to close us out, Howard. Seriously, thank you so much for coming on. This has been awesome. Awesome. And I know Katie's really enjoyed working with you and going to these conferences, and she's going to be attending and speaking in the future. We're kind of really kicking off our partnership in a lot of different ways that we're going to be announcing and working more with both your clients and ours. And there's just a lot of cool opportunities ahead in the future. And so, Howard, again, thank you. We're going to have you on again in the future, and just really appreciate it.
I enjoyed being with y'all. Thank you so much.
This has been Success Elevated, making you a little bit better one show at a time. Thanks for joining us. Please subscribe on YouTube or any other major podcast platform to listen to more episodes. We are proudly brought to you by Spot On Solutions. If you'd like to learn more about how we can help you grow your business, please check us out at spotonsolutions.com.